my little yarnivores and spiderettes. Fiber Spider back again with another tutorial just for you. And today I decided that I'm going to do a tutorial on the virus blanket. And I do have a tutorial on the virus shawl, and I thought it might be fun to try this as well. So here we go. Now for this piece that I've been working on, I'm not done yet. I've been working with the Lion brand ice cream colorway of yarn, and I have this much left from a skein this size, and this is in the colorway of Tutti Frutti, and it is a baby weight yarn. It is, by the way, I am not sponsored. It's about a weight of 3, so I've been using a size G hook with this yarn, and it does have a dye lot, so be sure to grab enough. I figure for a really nice full blanket, 2 to 3 of these should do just fine if you want a good throw size. The size of it right now, it's about 3 foot square, approximately. So with this, I could probably do another repeat of the pattern, which I'm going to show you how to do, no problem. And but for the tutorial, I'm going to be using Karen Cakes. No, I'm not sponsored, but you know this is my go-to yarn. And this is the colorway of Red Velvet, one of my favorites. And so for this tutorial, I'm going to use this yarn. It's a little bit thicker, so I'm going to use a size I crochet hook. Really use whatever gauge works for you. You don't want this to be too tremendously loose, because it is very lacy. You want it to have some sort of cohesiveness to it. So, like I said, for this yarn, which is the 3, I used a size G, and for the worsted, I'm using a size H. Alrighty, so without further ado, let's get started. Okie dokie, so for our first row, round, what have you, grab my size I hook, focus. Anyone? There we go. And you don't need a tremendous amount of tail because we're just going to be going into the center with it. But, fair amount. And so we're going to start with our slip knot, as always, and a chaining of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to connect it with a slip stitch to the first chain to create a ring, like so. Ta-da! Then, to continue with round 1, we are going to chain up 3, and then within this circle, we're going to do 19 double crochets. This chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, so it's going to be a total of 20 double crochets. And just doing your doubles as you normally would, but just within the chain. And you could work over your tail as you're doing your doubles. Me, I'll just do it at the end. No big deal. And so I'm going to keep stitching along until I have hit a total of 20 doubles, and I will be right back. Alrighty, so I have a total of 20 double crochets, and this chain 3, as I've said, counts as the first double crochet. Now to finish round 1, all we need to do is slip stitch into the third chain from the bottom, so that's 1, 2, and 3. So just doing a slip stitch into this top chain here. Be sure to go through both loops. And there we go. Ta-da! All right. So for row 2, we're going to chain up 3 once again. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to now do 2 double crochets into each stitch. So we're going to go from 20 to 40. And now this chain does count as our first double crochet, just as before. And so we need to go into this stitch down in here, the same stitch. Oops, hello. Otherwise, it's going to throw your count off. So it looks like that. All right. And then you're just going to be doing 2 double crochets into each stitch all the way around. Like I said, going from 20 stitches up to 40 stitches. And row 2 is really as easy as that. And so when I reach the end of this round, we're going to do a slip stitch to join, and we're going to go on to round 3. All right? Be back in a flash, my dears. Alrighty, so we're nearly done with row 2. And as I said, we're going to do a slip stitch again into the 3rd chain. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And so right now I have a total of 40 double crochets from the round, and it does pay off in the long run to double count. Believe you me. All right, so we've got our 40, and now on to row 3. So for row 3, a little bit different. Instead of chaining up 3, we're going to do a chaining up of 4, and that's because we need a double crochet with a chain 1 space for each of these stitches all the way around. So because a chain 3 would be a double crochet, we need that chain 1 space, so it's a chaining up of 4 stitches. And then into the next double crochet stitch, we're going to do a double, and then chain 1, do a double into the next double, chain 1, double crochet into the next double, and so on for the rest of this round. So we're still going to have 40 double crochets, but it's going to have a chain 1 space in between each one. So it's going to look something like this. All right, so I'm going to meet back up with you at the end of this round, and we will finish this and then go on to round 4. Alrighty, so I'm nearly done with round 3. Now be sure that when you're finishing the round that you still do your chain stitch there at the end. And then we need to do a slip stitch into the 3rd chain. So not the one directly next to the double crochet, but it's 3rd from the bottom. So it's 1, 2, and 3. So that there is a chain stitch space still right there, as you can see. So we're doing our slip stitch, and that is the end of round 3. Now, yes, this looks like a record that has been left out in the sun. However, it will flatten out as we keep going, and it stretches itself out further. So not to worry, you're not doing anything wrong. Let's go on to round 4. All right. So for round 4, this is where things get a little bit different. Very much so. Instead of chaining up a 3 or 4, we're chaining up 5. Because this is going to be the first half of one of our corners for the square format of the blanket. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And trust me, this will make sense later. Trust me. So skipping this space here, we're going to go into the next chain space with a single crochet. So we have a bit of a loop going on here. We're going to have a corresponding one right here when we come to the other side. So now we're going to chain 3, 2 and 3, and we're going to skip this chain space here and go into the next one right here. Do another single crochet into that space, chain 3, skip a chain space, go into the next with a single crochet, and do this one more time, chain 3, skip a chain space, go into the next space with a single crochet. So we have a chain 5 followed by 3 chain 3s. They're very flush with the rounds that we've been doing, but they are there nonetheless. So we've got our 5, we've got 3 3s, and now we're going to be doing 2 5s. So we chain up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, skip the chain space, go into the next with a single crochet, and chain 5 again. 2, 3, 4, 5. And skip 1, go into the next with a single crochet. So this is going to make up one of our corners. So we're going to follow the repeat of this round. So it's 3 chains of 3. So it's 1, 2, 3. Skip 1, go into the next with a single. 1, 2, 2 and 3. Skip 1, go into the next with a single. 1, 2, 3. Skip 1, go into the next with a single. All right, so we left off over here. We've got our 3 chain 3 spaces. So now we need to make another corner. So that's chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip a chain space, go into the next with a single. Chain 5 again. Okay, skip a chain space, go into the next with a single. So we have another corner right here. So we have 2 corners right here. And so we need to do another full corner down here and then finish this one over here. So because we left off doing 2 5s, we need to do 3 3s. So that's 1, 2, 3. Skip 1, go into the next with a single. 1, 2, 3. Skip 1, go into the next with a single. And 1, 2, and 3. Skip 1, go into the next with a single. And even when you're doing this, it's always good to double check where you're at. See, I got my 5 here, and then we've got our 3 3s right here. So it's time for 2 5s yet again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 1, go into the next with a single. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 1, go into the next with a single. All right, we're almost there. So that was what? That was our 2 5s, right? All right, so now we need 3 3s. 1, 2, and 3. Skip 1, go into the next. 1, 2, and 3. Skip 1, go into the next with a single. And 1, 2, 3. Skip 1, go into the next with a single. All right, so we are just about there. So we need to do another chaining of 5 to finish off the other half of this corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so now we're going to skip this chain space, go into the next, just as we've always been doing, and do a single. Now, so that it doesn't look entirely wonky, what you're going to want to do is do a slip stitch into the base of this chain right here. Now, I know it seems a little tricky, but we can totally do it. see, right into here. See, right into there. And that's how I've been doing it. If you find that you have a better means, by all means, go for it. I judge not, but that's what I've been doing. All right, so that is the end of round 4, and we're gonna keep on trotting along and go on to round 5. Alrighty, so for round 5, we're going back to doing regular double crochets. So, starting with a chaining of 3. 1, 2, 3. So this is acting as our first double crochet. Now, within this ring, the first chaining of 5 that we did, we need to do 9 more double crochets, so that we'll have a total of 10 when you include this first chain. That's 2, 3, 4, 6. All right, and as I've said, it always pays to double check. So we've got 5 there and 5 there. Perfect. Okay. And that's what we're actually going to be doing for the entire round. Every time you reach these chain 5 spaces, you're going to be doing 10 double crochets within each of those spaces. Now the ones in between, we're going to be creating a bit of a web work, if you will. So without doing any chaining, we went directly from this 10 double crochets and into this next chain 3 space, we're going to do a single crochet, like so. Then we chain 3. Into the next chain 3 space, we do a single crochet. We've got one more, so it's chain 3, and a single crochet into this space as well. All right, now without doing any chains, we go directly into this chain space with 10 double crochets. Right? And always double checking. Now be very careful because, all right, as you can see, we have our previous chain 3 space with our single crochet. This right here can look like a double. Do not be deceived. Okay? So being careful to realize that this is not our first double right there. We start counting. So that's 4 and okay, so I've got 5 right there and then 5 right there. Perfect. Okay, so we now have to do 10 more in this next chain 5 space. So you don't chain, you don't do anything in between, you just immediately go from doing this 10 to the next 10 doubles. And my central air kicked on. So I'm just going to finish doing this 10 and I will be right back. Alrighty, so we have our 10 in this chain 5 space, and now I have 10 in this chain 5 space. Alrighty. So now we're going to continue right along as we did over here with our single crochets. So again, without doing any chaining or anything, we go into this next chain 3 space with a single crochet, chain 3, and then go into the next chain 3 space with a single crochet, chain 3, and go into the next chain 3 space with, yes, you guessed it, a single crochet. All right, so now we've reached our 2 chain 5 spaces. So we're going to be doing directly, like I said before, no chaining, just going directly in with 10 double crochets. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10. And yes, I always double check just out of my own paranoia, if you will. I always err on the side of caution. All right, so again, being sure that this chain here is not counted. So I've got 5 and 5. Perfect. So then immediately going on to doing the 10 double crochets into this space here. Should be 10. All right, so I've got my 5 there, as you can see, and 5 more. Perfect. All right, so going back to what we were doing with our sort of lace webbing, if you will, going in with a single crochet into that chain 3 space, chain 3, then another single crochet into that chain 3 space, chain 3, and do a single crochet into that chain 3 space, like so. And then we're getting there, So into this chain 5 space, we do our 10 doubles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and should be 10. Well, that's 4. There's 5. And 5. Perfect. And then into our next chain 5 space, we do another 10. 10 doubles. 6, 7, 8, and should be 10. That's 5 and 5. Perfect. All right, so we're almost done with this row. So again, we go immediately into the chain 3 space with a single crochet, chaining of 3, single crochet into the next chain 3 space, chaining of 3, and single crochet into the next chain 3 space. All right, just got to pull out some more yarn here. All right, so we are just about at the end of round 5. Just need to do this final 10 in the chain 5 space. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. All right, this should be good. Yep, and yep, okay. So now to finish off round 5, all we have to do is slip stitch into the 3rd chain, and that'll be the end of oh, excusez-moi. That will be the end of round 5. All right. And so then we will now continue on to round 6. Back in a flash. All right, my dear. So for round 6, now this is a very, very easy round, let me tell you. So I'm not going to do the whole thing on camera because it is so very, very easy. But the last one, I can see how it could be a little tricky, so not to worry. All right, so now for round 6, start with a chain 3. And then in every double crochet, we're going to be doing a double crochet. No increasing, no decreasing, just double for a double, okay? Easy enough, right? So we have our chain 3 coming out to compensate for this chain 3 right there. So into the next one, it's just double crochet. And that's really all there is to it for the majority of this round, with the exception of our web work, which we will get to momentarily. I just want to get you started, for the most part. And it really is as easy as that. And the beauty of this pattern is that it is quite simply a 4-round repeat. And once you get the swing of it, you are golden. All right, now, even though it is just a double in every double, you still need to be careful. I warn you now that it is very easy to accidentally create an extra double. See, my last double went into this double right here. Now, you might think that this right here would be an extra one. No, actually that's our single. So you need to be careful, and I would suggest still counting just to be on the safe side until you get used to the formation of the pattern. See, I've got my 5 and I've got my 5. So I'm still good, just got to be careful, because once you're, thinking, oh, yes, I completed my round, and then you're going on to the next one, and then you realize, oh, I miscounted. Then you have to undo all of your work, and it can be very, very annoying. Believe you me, I know. I've been through it. So, without further ado, let's keep going. So I got my 10 here, 1 in each, and then again, no chains, just go straight in to this chain 3 space with a single crochet, chaining of 3, next chain 3 space with a single crochet, and without doing any chains or anything, we're going to go directly into the next double crochet with a double crochet. And so because this is, as I've said, going to be a corner, it's just going to be 20 double crochets in a row, and we're not doing anything in between or different between the two groupings of 10 that we had done prior. There are no chains, there's no increases, no decreases, no fuss, no muss. It's no problem. and I will show you what I mean. And we're almost to that point. All right, see, just got this double here, and so that's the first 10, right? Yes, and yes. Okay, so that's the first 10. Then for the second 10, we just go straight into the next double crochet right here, just as we have been. And you should, by the end of it, have a total of just 20 double crochets in a row. And that's part of what makes this particular row so simple, because you're just basically following suit with the pre-existing round that you did before. The only difference, as I've said, is when you get to the web work, because you're going to have fewer bits of the web, as it were. All right, so again, just making sure. Got my 5 and my 5. Perfect. All right, so going to go directly into this chain 3 space with a single, chaining of 3, and a single on the next, and all right, so basically that's what round 6 is all about. And so I'm just going to keep going along. So again, doing my 20 double crochets in here, and then do my single in here, chain 3, single in here, do another 20, single in here, chain 3, single in here, and then do my last remaining 10 doubles so that we can join up to where we started. All right, so when I reach the end of this round, I'll be right back. All right, so we're nearly done with round 6, and I did my 10 doubles along this side here, right? So now what we need to do, of course, to finish the round is to slip stitch. So again, it's into the third, so it's 1, 2, and 3, right into here. Easy peasy, like so. Just slip stitch into there. And then, so that's the end of round 6, so for round 7, we're going to start by chaining up 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is actually the last round of the repeat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to split up this into 2 parts so that this is the end of the final round of part 1. And for part 2, I'm going to give you a full repeat so that you can refer back to that for future reference. So there's no problem. So I chained up 4, and into the next double crochet, you do a double crochet. Does this look familiar? So that was chaining 4, double crochet. So you chain 1, double crochet into the next double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the next. How easy is this, right? You just keep chaining 1 and doing a double crochet into the next double crochet. Easy peasy. See, if you remember, back here, we had our double crochets with a chain 1. See, it started with just a round of doubles, then 2 doubles in each, then the double crochet with a chain 1. And so that is, in essence, the beginning. Now, because it's a little bit different up here, that's why I'm actually explaining it. I'm sorry, I'm yammering. Okay, so we did 4, 5, and so we're just going to keep doing this. The only difference is that when you get to this bridge at the top, it'll make sense, don't worry. And also, I still advise double counting. There's nothing wrong with that. Alrighty. And just about there. In fact, I am there. Okay, so that's the 5 and the 5. Perfect. So now, there are, of course, different ways that you can go about this. You could conceivably do a chain 1 in between this grouping and this grouping. I, however, do not. I just leave it, going from my double crochet, then doing a double crochet into my grouping over here with no chains in between. So I did my double, and I go into this first double on this side, making sure that it is relatively taut, so it's not too much of a gap there. You'll see. If it's too loose, it's like, ooh. Alright, so got my double, chain 1, double, chain 1, double, chain 1, double, and that's really all there is to round 7. It is that simple. It's just a double crochet, chain 1, and when you're going all the way across here, it's going to be a total of 20 double crochets with a chain 1 space in between. And again, we're not doing anything differently. There's no demarcation in between this grouping and this grouping. There's no extra chain or anything. It's just you're keeping it very nice and consistent throughout. Okay. And then, in a nutshell, I'm just going to keep right along this way, and then when I hit over here, I've got my double crochet, and going immediately from this double crochet into this double crochet, no chaining. So it cinches it up a little, which is nice. And then doing my double crochet, chain 1 all the way around, and then all the way around, and so on and so forth for the entire round. And when I get to the beginning again, I will show you how to finish it off, and then that'll be it for this part of this oh so fun tutorial, and I will be back in a flash. Okay, so I'm nearly done with round 7, and of course be sure to finish up by doing your chain 1, and then slip stitch into the third chain from the bottom, 2 and 3, like so, making sure that there is a chain 1 free right there, because you don't want to go into the one right next to the double, and you're doing your slip stitch. And that is the end of round 7. Now, like I said, I'm going to be doing a full repeat for part 2, so that I hope this makes perfect sense in every which way. And I'm laying this out flat so that you can see exactly what I'm going to be talking about. Okay. Now, as you can see, we started in the very beginning with our 20 doubles, then we went to 40, and then we did our double crochet, chain 1 space all the way around, and then after that, that's when we created the chain 5 spaces and the chain 3 spaces. Okay, that is the first round of the repeat. Okay, so this is the first round. Okay, then it was 10 doubles, then 10 doubles, and then a double with the chain 1 in between, right? So that is, the space is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is a 4-row repeat. Okay, now because we're going to have these corners growing out, we need to account for these spaces in between here. That's where part 2 comes into play, so that it'll be perfectly understandable as we go on. All right, so I'll be back in a flash with part 2, and keep at it, my dears. I'll see you in a bit. Bye for now.